child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay, and he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. It said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, the little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day, so much like a man I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you, can you sit for a while? He shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. I've long since retired, my son's moved away. I called him up just the other day. I said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. He said, I'd love to, Dad, if I can find the time. You see, my new job's a hassle and the kids are the flu, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, he'd grown up just like me. My boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We're gonna have a good time then. I come fresh from the street, fast on my feet, kinda lean and lazy. Not much meat on my bones and a whole lot alone and more than a little bit crazy. The old six-string was all I had to keep my belly still. And for each full hour lesson I gave, I got a crisp $10 bill. She was married for 7 years to a concrete castle king. She said she wanted to learn to play the guitar and to hear her children sing. So I'd show up about once a week in my faded tattooed jeans, with a backlog full of hobo stories and dilapidated dreams. She said, I wanna learn a love song full of happy things. She said, I wanna learn a love song, won't you let me hear you sing? She said, I wanna learn a love song always turned out she'd rather listen to my guitar and me. I could hear her old man laughing in the den, playing stud poker with the boys, while I sang so soft in the living room, too scared to make much noise. I came one week and the den was dark, and she met me at the door, and we sat on the couch and we sang and talked till I could not sing no more. The silence kept on building, her eyes grew much too wide, and I could hear both of our heartbeats, but there was no place to hide. She said, I wanna learn a love song full of happy things. She said, I wanna learn a love song, won't you let me hear you sing? She said, I wanna learn a love song, I wanna hear you play. She said, I wanna learn a love song before you go away. Well, I guess you know what happened. God, I've never been so clean. Yes, I feel like I'm working in a Hollywood movie or living out a good bad dream. And all them pin-up girls in that tinsel world never touched me like she can. It took another man's wife in the real world life to make this boy a man. She said, I wanna learn a love song full of happy things. She said, I wanna learn a love song, won't you let me hear you sing? She said, I wanna learn a love song, I wanna hear you play. She said, I wanna learn a love song before you go away. I guess you know I stayed. He was crazy, of course. From the first she must have known it, but still she went on with him, and she never once had shown it. And she took him off the street, and she dried his tears of grieving. She listened to his visions, she believed in his believing. Ah, he was the sun, burning bright and brittle, and she was the moon, shining back his light a little. He was a shooting star, she was softer and more slowly. He could not make things possible, but she could make them holy, holy. He was dancing to some music no one else had ever heard. He'd speak in unknown languages, she would translate every word. And then when the world was laughing at his castles in the sky, she'd hold him in her body till he once again could fly. Ah, he was the sun, burning bright and brittle, and she was the moon, shining back his light a little. He was a shooting star, she was softer and more slowly. He could not make things possible, but she could make them holy, holy. She gave him a daughter, and she gave him a son. She was a mother and a wife, and a lover. When the day was done, he was too far gone. Forgiven love, what he offered in its stead was the knowledge she was the only thing that was not in his head. He took off east one morning towards the rising sun's red glow. She knew he was going nowhere, but of course she let him go. And as she stood and watched him dwindle, much too empty to be sad, he reappeared beside her, saying, "You're all I've ever had." Oh, he was the sun, burning bright and brittle, and she was the moon, shining back his light a little. He was a shooting star, she was softer and more slowly. He could not make things possible, but she could make them holy. Holy. It was just after dark when the truck started down the hill that leads into Scranton, Pennsylvania, carrying 30,000 pounds of bananas. Carrying 30,000 pounds, hit it, Big John, of bananas. He was a young driver, just out on his second job, and he was carrying the next day's pasty fruit for everyone in that cold, scarred city where children play without despair in backyard slag piles, and folks manage to eat each day about 30,000 pounds of banana. Yes, just about 30,000 pounds. Dream it again, John, of bananas. He passed the sign that he should have seen, saying, "Shift the low gear, a $50 fine, my friend." He was thinking perhaps about the warm-breathed woman who was waiting at the journey's end. He started down the 2-mile drop, the curving road that wound from the top of the hill. He was pushing on through the shortening miles that ran down to the depot. Just a few more miles to go, then he'd go home and have her ease his long cramped day away, and the smell of 30,000 pounds of bananas. Yes, the smell of 30,000 pounds of bananas. He was picking up speed as the city spread its twinkling lights below him, but he paid no heed as a shivering thought of the night's delights went through him. His foot nursed the brakes to slow him down, but the pedal floored easy without a sound. He said, "Christ!" It was funny how he had named the only man who could save him now. He was trapped inside a dead-end hillside, riding on his fear hunchback was everywhere one of those yellow-green. I'm telling you, 30,000 pounds of bananas. Yes, there were 30,000 pounds of bananas. He barely made the sweeping curve that led into the sideswiped 19 neat parked cars, clipped off 13 telephone poles, hit 2 houses, bruised 8 trees, and Blue Cross 7 people. It was then he lost his head, not to mention an arm or 2 before he stopped. And he smeared for 400 yards along the hill that leads into Scranton, Pennsylvania. All those 30,000 pounds of bananas. You know, the man who told me about it on the bus says it went up the hill out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. He shrugged his shoulders, he shook his head, and he said, and this is exactly what he said: boy, it sure must have been something. Just imagine 30,000 pounds of bananas. Yes, there were 30,000 pounds of mashed bananas. Of bananas. Of bananas. Just bananas. 30,000 pounds of bananas. Not no driver now, just bananas. I was thrown on the cobblestones, tossed at her feet. My fool's mouth was filled with the dust from the street. An out-of-work caught jester with nowhere to go, and no need to speak, for she seemed to know. She sings her songs without words, songs that sailors and blind men and beggars have heard. She knows more of love than the poets can say, and her eyes offer something that won't go away. This mad mocking town and its dishonored guest disappeared in the colors that danced on her dress. She led me to safety in a forest of green, and showed my stale eyes some sights never seen. She sings her songs without words, songs that sailors and blind men and beggars have heard. She knows more of love than the poets can say, and her eyes offer something that won't go away. She spins magic in moonlight in her meadows and streams, and seeks deep inside me and touches my dreams. The morning comes smiling and I laugh with no sound, and snuggle in silence in the sweet peace I've found. Then she sings her songs without words, songs that sailors and blind men and beggars have heard. She knows more of love than the poets can say, and her eyes offer something that won't go away. No, they won't go away, go away. was the town that made America famous. The church is full and the kids all gone to hell. 6 traffic lights and 7 cops, and all the streets kept clean. The supermarket and the drugstore and the bars all doing well. Now they were the folks that made America famous. Our local fire department stocked with short-haired volunteers. And on Saturday night, while America boozes, the fire department showed dirty movies. The lawyer and the grocer seeing their dreams come to life on the movie screen, while the plumber hopes that it won't be seen as he tries to hide his fears, and he wipes away his tears. But something's burning somewhere. Does anybody care? We were the kids that made America famous. The kind of kids that long since drove our parents to despair. We were lazy, long hairs dropping out, lost, confused and copping out, convinced our futures were in doubt and trying not to care. We lived in the house that made America famous. It was a rundown slum, the shame of all the decent folks in town. We're hippies and some welfare cases, crowded families of cold black faces, cramped inside some cracked old boards, the best that we all could afford, but still too fine for the rich landlord to ever tear it down. And we could hear the sound of something burning somewhere. Is anybody there? We all live the life that made America famous. Our cops would make a point to shadow us around our town, and we loved children, put a swastika on the bright red firehouse door. America, the beautiful, it makes a body proud. And then came the night that made America famous. Was it carelessness or someone's sick idea of a joke? In the tinderbox trap that we hippies lived in, someone struck a spark. At first I thought that I was dreaming, then I saw the first flames gleaming and heard the sound of children screaming coming through the smoke. And something's burning somewhere. Does anybody care? America famous. The sirens wailed and the firemen stumbled, sleeping from their homes. And when the plumber yelled, "Come on, let's go," they saw what was burning and said, "Take it slow, let them sweat a little, they'll never know. And besides, we just cleaned the chrome," said the plumber, "then I'm going alone." In the fire truck and raised the ladder to the ledge, well, me and my girl and a couple of kids were clinging like bats to the edge. We staggered to salvation and collapsed on the street, and I never thought that a fat man's face would ever look so sweet. I shook his hand in the scene that made America famous, and he smiled from the heart that made America great. We spent the rest of that night in the home of this man that we'd never known before. It's funny when you get that close, it's kinda hard to hate. I went to sleep with the hope that made America famous. I had the kind of a dream that maybe they're still trying to teach in school, of the America that made America famous, and of the people who just might understand that how together, yes we can, create a country better than the one we have made of this land. We have the choice to make each man who dares to dream, reaching out his hand, a prophet or just a crazy damn dreamer of a fool. Yes, a crazy fool. And something's burning somewhere. Does anybody care? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Mrs. Smith and Mr. Jones have come to pass the night. They pulled off of the highway when they saw my light. It's a vacancy, I offer them. What they offer me is fullness for a lifetime that's bare as can be. There's a vacancy, won't you come to me and fill my empty spaces? I'm a motel man in a promised land that's filled with empty faces. Won't you bring your sorrows, bring your dreams? It's a place for you to be. There's no more tomorrow, or that's how it seems. So won't you come to me? I've got a vacancy. Another name, another key, another past the glory, another night, another sight, another bedtime story. Another stage, another chance for gentleness or violence, another birth, another dance, another death in silence. There's a vacancy, won't you come to me and fill my empty spaces? I'm a motel man in a promised land that's filled with empty faces. Won't you bring your sorrows, bring your dreams? It's a place for you to be. There's no more tomorrow, oh, that's how it seems. So won't you come to me? I've got a vacancy. Mr. John is coming on with his liaison. Mr. Soft is coming off and soon he'll be gone. Mrs. Hart has come apart now that she's alone. Mr. Jive has come alive, but nobody's home. Mornings come check out time with my pail and broom. I find what they've left behind in every telltale room. The sheets show their struggles, the glasses their fears, the ashtrays, the hours past, the towels their tears. There's a vacancy, won't you come to me and fill my empty spaces? I'm a motel man in a promised land that's filled with empty faces. Won't you bring your sorrows, bring your dreams? It's a place for you to be. There's no more tomorrow, or that's how it seems. Won't you come to me? I've got a vacancy. There's no tick-tock on your electric clock, but still your life runs down. There's no tick-tock on your electric clock, but still your life runs down. I'm halfway to heaven and my home in Forest Hills. It's 11:30. I've got some time to kill. I missed my bus connection. My train got in too late, and I'm forced into reflection by this half-hour wait. Now I have been a straight man, and I've played it by the rules. I've been a good man, a good husband, a good old-fashioned fool. I have a fine wife and 2 children, just like everybody's got. But after 15 years of marriage, the fires don't burn too hot. Someone played a trick on me. They set me up so perfectly. They gave me their morality and then changed the rules they set for me. Someone must be laughing now, though it don't seem funny somehow, how the world's accepting now what they once would not allow. Back in my younger days, the world has changed in so many ways. My mother once said to me, so many years ago now, don't you touch those bad girls. So I never had girls until I had my Mary. When we married, my Mary then had my 2 sons. My life as a lover was already done. It was over before it had really begun. Someone played a trick on me. I sent this little girl to me. She is my new secretary, and she's something to see. Yeah, she's a nice girl, but it's a young world, and she lives her life so free, and she sure gets through to me. She brings a pad into my office. She wears a sweater and a skirt. Somewhere deep inside of me, something starts to hurt. She's wearing nothing underneath. I can see what there's to see. She smiles and says, you wanted me. I'd have to agree. You know how much I want her, and I know that I could have her. I know I could, I know she would make love to me so wonderfully. Goddamn, I'm one crazy mixed up mixture of a man. In my head All my life I've been a sinner, and in my bed with just my wife I'm still a beginner. But tomorrow night I'm taking that little girl out to dinner. The very day I purchased it, I christened my guitar as my monophonic symphony, six-string orchestra. In my room I'd practice late, they'd leave me alone. My mother said, "You're nothing yet to make the folks right home." I'd play it all the talent nights, I'd finish, they'd applaud. Some called it muffled laughter, I just figured they were odd. So I went up for an encore, but they screamed they'd had enough. Or maybe I just need a group to help me do my stuff. And so I dream a bass will join me and fill the bottom in. And maybe now some lead guitar so it would not sound so thin. I need some drums to set the beat and help me keep in time. And way back in the distance, some strings would sound so fine. And we'd all play together like fine musicians should. And it would sound like music, and the music would sound good. But in real life I'm stuck with that same old formula. Me and my monophonic symphony, six-string orchestra. I write love songs for my favorite girl and sing them soft and slow. But before I get to finish, she says she has to go. She's nice and says, "Excuse me, I've got to find a bar. I think I need refreshment before I hear you play guitar." Oh, I sent a demo tape I made to the record companies. Two came back, address unknown, one came back COD. Of course I got form letters, all saying pleasant things, like suggesting I should find a trade where I would not have to sing. And so I dream a bass will join me and fill the bottom in. And maybe now some lead guitar so it would not sound so thin. I need some drums to set the beat and help me keep in time. And way back in the distance, some strings musician should. And it would sound like music, and the music would sound good. But in real life I'm stuck with that same old formula. Me and my monophonic symphony, 6-string orchestra. Do it, fingers. Eat your heart out, Eric Clapton. I've been taking guitar lessons, but my teacher just took leave. It was something about a breakdown or needing a reprieve. I know I've found my future, so I will persevere and hold on to my dream of making music to their ears. And so I'll dream a bass will join me and fill the bottom in. And maybe now some lead guitar so it would not sound so thin. I need some drums to set the beat and help me keep in time. And way back in the distance, some strings would sound so fine. I need all the help I can get, and we'd all play together like fine musicians should. And it would sound like music, and the music would sound good. But in real life I'm stuck with that same old formula. Me and my monophonic symphony, 6-string orchestra. Oops. Oh, play that thing. Oh, someday I'm gonna be a star.